Thank you once again for joining me for another amazing episode of Let's Talk 1943. I am so honored for you to be here today. This is going to be a great show. I have someone that I truly love and adore, and we're going to talk about some things today. But before we get started, let me just go into a prayer. Lord Jesus, thank you so much for allowing us to be here today. Thank you, Lord, for allowing me to be your vessel and to hopefully this would touch someone to be able to make them empower, make them uplift, and to be motivated. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. So let me introduce this young lady here, and we'll go ahead in. All right. So she's a proud Army veteran, mental health advocate, best-selling author, a founder of Ugly Essentials, a brand that turns into, I think, what do you say, what's your brand?
You gotta love yourself.
You gotta love yourself. Yes, you gotta love yourself and into a lifestyle. Let's welcome Michelle McKenney to the show. Hello, Michelle.
How you doing, my beautiful queen?
I am good. How are you?
It's good to see you.
You too. This is great. I mean, we're gonna go into a little history, but before, can't forget this. She is a member of the best sorority of the land.
In the whole entire world.
Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. So that's how we met. We met on being sorority sisters. Yeah. And during the years, we both went entrepreneurship. And then we just started building. And it just came to a point I was like, you know what? I got to get her on my show because you're doing some amazing things. So I can't wait to get into that today. So let me just dive in.
Okay.
What is your why and what is your purpose of everything you're doing?
To let everyone know that it's okay to be different. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to not be okay.
No.
Just as long as you love yourself. Because as long as you love yourself and whatever supreme being that you desire to serve, then that's all that matters. Everything else is easy. You know, with things that we can do to make ourselves feel better, or coping mechanisms, go talk to somebody. And then sometimes it might be you might need a little bit more assistance than that, but just to be you. And it's okay to be you, and don't let anybody tell you different.
Yeah, because I know on social media, I do see you're definitely an advocate of mental health. We're going to dig into that. And it's so important, especially these days and times. People don't even know where to turn sometimes.
No.
And people like you and others that doing this now, kudos, because you know, just looking at your video could just turn someone to go get that help, you know?
That's right.
So let's talk about the military first. So how did that shape you as being the woman you are today?
It helped me be very self-aware about some things I need to fix about myself, right? It already came from, we'll say a dysfunctional but structured family. Right, my father was an aerospace engineer. My mother was a registered nurse, but she is an immigrant. She's Jamaican, but my father was a functioning alcoholic. Okay. So that's why I say dysfunctional but structured. So the structure was go to school, get good grades, go to college. If you don't go to college, get out my house, do something. That was the structure of my father. But my mother was, like we always call our moms, nurturing and also structure as well. So I had that going into the Army, but the Army helped me deal with those things that I couldn't deal with as a child.
All right.
Then went through some things. And then when you go get shot at, right?
That'll do it.
You know, something blows up in front of you, that puts things in a different perspective for your life too. I learned that I can be a follower, but I'm truly a leader. It's okay to be that one to take initiative, because if you don't, somebody's got to do it anyway. So it might end up on you anyway.
Right.
So all I did was use the Army as a stepping stone. I didn't realize I'm going to stay over almost 30 years. But it was definitely a pivotal part of my life because I grew up in the Army. I came in the Army at 17. And then now retired 7 years ago, 2017. So I grew up, but then all the things that when my mother had to go and do some things to take care of her children, I just learned those skill sets in the Army, right? Nothing on my mom. She just had to do what she had to do to take care of her kids. And then when I really just was knowing who I am as a woman, as a soldier, as a wife, that my mom passed. So that part was another pivotal transition to like learn truly resilience. So I had a great time. I don't miss those hours.
No early rising.
Yeah, well, not even that. I've always been an early riser, but I just don't miss those 18, 20-hour days.
Oh, okay.
And where we're at in today's society, I'm just glad to be a veteran.
Now, I want to go back a little bit. You had said 30 years. So that's a long time, because I know, and they say you go into the service, they kind of like build you up for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So seeing that you came out, how do you transition into civilian life after you've been kind of structured on that for almost 3 decades?
Take some time for yourself.
Mm.
Really know what you want to be and who you want to be when you grow up.
Mm.
But to really give yourself grace. And that was a career, but now it's time to transition into I would say a girl, a really girl. I'm a girl's girl.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can do all the things and wear all the things I wanted to be actually the true woman that I want to be now. Because there's no restrictions. So if I want to wear all this like I have in my hair, I could do that.
That's
if I want, wear whatever on my fingernails now, I can do that. It's a choice, and that I can say, hey, I can execute that, versus it's a choice. However, there's a consequence.
Right. If you do certain
things.
Yeah. And then you had mentioned too about being shot at.
Yeah.
All right. Because, we know you go to the service, there's a chance that you're going to get hurt. There's a chance you could die. There's a chance that you'll just be shot. How was it when you got shot at? Like, kind of just take us through the feelings of what, you went through. Because, a lot of people are never going to experience that and hope you don't. But how do you feel when that happened?
I would probably have to go back to the first time that I had ever seen any type of conflict. And that was in Desert Shield, Desert Storm.
Yeah.
So we were playing volleyball on the base, and next thing you know, we see this whole explosion, right? And that was a Patriot missile hitting that Scud on the backside of the base. And then you just, everything just shook. I got up under the bench, right? The bench table.
I got to preserve myself.
Right. But then I ain't have my mask. So it was just like, well, what are you doing here? Okay. So if it's a gas Scud, we're going to be all burnt up anyway, because no one got to that gas mask.
Wow.
And then, yeah, it was just insane. But it was scary. Then a whole bunch of sense of nervousness, because you don't know, is anybody hurt around you? What else is going to happen? And your adrenaline starts going, and you just go into mode, So, and at that time, Desert Storm, I was a E3. But when I went on my first convoy, I was a staff sergeant. So that was a little bit more different than just seeing a Scud blow up and you're here having IED attacks and you're just getting the shakes and all that. But being actually blown up in a vehicle or seeing somebody get shot or all that was totally different. Definitely had to go talk to somebody about that. A lot of times we don't do that. When I went into that conflict, we weren't really talking about mental health in the Army back then. That was actually Somalia. So we weren't really advocating for our soldiers or our military period to, hey, go speak to somebody. So we had to figure it out. Luckily, my mom was there. So I was able to explain things to her, talk to her. She's a nurse. And was able to get through some things. And then after that, it never gets easy, or I should say better. It gets a little bit easier, but it's still there. Like even to this day, I can remember those vivid images of a lot of things.
And you hear the stories all the time. especially with the holidays come, you're talking Memorial Day or Veterans Day, you hear a lot of stories on the news about things that happen, and people, it happened 40, 50 years ago, and they still cry when they talk about it, just to say that I lost my friends that day, or, so just the mental health aspect that we're going to get into kind of explains how you kind of transition into that, because that's a lot of trauma that, like you said, a lot of people don't talk about. They come home and they just say, go to work or go to school and get back to your life. And there's no one is addressing that. I just saw somebody's arm get blown off, or I just saw my friend die and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't save her. And you have that remorse that you're here, but they're not here. So we're going to get into that. That's very interesting. So how did your experience in the Army lead you to the passion of mental health? So that's kind of the transition piece.
So there was... still serving, right? Still serving, just in a different capacity. And then I met this handsome man over here.
She talking about her husband. He's over there watching.
He, hey boo. He is a mental health professional. Okay. So it was supposed to be like hey, did you ever think about doing this? And it'll help you transition, and it'll be a good thing. Talking to kids, helping them out. It's no really difference than being in an army, having soldiers, right? Or being a leader, period. Being a leader. So I started that, and then I still do that. The only difference now is right now, currently, I'm not seeing clients. Okay. But other than that, went into doing intensive in-home, being in there with the children and the kids, with their parents, and basically... what we see in society today, that we have to help out our parents before we can help out our children. COVID exposed a lot of different things, and specifically in mental health. It exposed probably our children don't like their parents, and their parents don't like their children. And that's when they leave out of their home, their children are 70 to 75%, their children are doing something different than or behaviors that they're not presenting in the home. True. And then too, we have to look at and be cognizant that the parents, depending on how they were raised, all that plays in us as human beings. Right. And we really have to understand that, because then if we do, then we'll be better ourselves. Even to the way of how we attract people. Yeah,
that's true.
It just all goes back to really our childhood, our inner child. So the more we talk about it, the more we address things and stay in the moment, the better we can be healthy, and specifically in your mind, because if your mind is not strong, your body's not going to be strong. And then you're not going to be able to be your best version of yourself.
Yeah, most people do it the opposite way.
They do.
And that's where it's messed up, because, even if you say, well, I want to lose weight, and they'll go in the gym and they'll say, I've been in the gym all month, and they but that's just a rush, because eventually it's gonna pop. Like, you're gonna get to a point that's not gonna be enough, because the mental has to be strong for you to continue to do the physical.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people do it the opposite way, and that's why it doesn't sustain, it doesn't stay.
That's right.
So in your mental health journey, what kind of tools or what do you do to keep your mental together, and how do you encourage others to do the same?
Oh, I go see my therapist. I just saw him the other day.
Good shout out to the therapist. Shout out to the therapist.
I see him twice a month. I don't play around.
He's like, I don't miss my appointments.
No, because I've had my own struggles. Right. I've had my own struggles with suicide attempts. I've used to be in some dark spaces. Right. So I'm an SA survivor. I'm a DV survivor. So there's some things that I've had to work on within myself so I can be better in society. So I can attract healthy relationships and connections. And so I can be successful monetarily wise. Everybody says success in different ways. But for me, it's truly my mind, body, and soul. Because if you don't have that, you don't have nothing else.
That's right.
Period.
You don't have anything else.
Nothing at all.
And like you said, that, to attract healthy relationships. That's important, because I always say with people, if you're dating or you have friendships, you attract what you are. Yes. You attract that aura, like that universe thing pulls. Yes. So if you're not in a good space, you usually attract other people that's similar to you. Absolutely. Or codependent.
Absolutely.
Either or. So what do you think about that?
That was a lot. That was a whole lot right there. Because you mentioned about codependency. A lot of people don't want to understand about codependencies. And we can have codependencies with our siblings, our family members, and then somebody else. You know, things that we have to also be cognizant about is when we connect those trauma bonds. So a lot of people don't want to talk about those type of words because they're like, oh, it's too clinical, but people really need to understand what those mean so they'll know not to do it anymore, right? So you're right, we're attract what we are. Energy attracts energy. So if we're the mindset, if we're around people that are doing a lot of negative self-talk, everything that comes out their mouth, they're complaining, they sit here gossiping about people, you know, instead of just like, hey, well, just let's talk about the TV, what happened in the world today or something. But it's always about another person, or they're just projecting, which we do and we don't know we're doing.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't really know.
You got to catch yourself sometimes.
You got to catch yourself. And if you're not mentally strong to do that, then you won't catch it. So it's work. It puts a lot of self-work, but we don't want to, the first thing is to be accountable.
Yeah, that's true.
So a lot of times we don't want to do that as human beings.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, like you said, being accountable, doing the work doesn't mean you're perfect. That's where a misconception is. A lot of people feel you do the work, you good. I'm a life coach. I am. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. I make mistakes.
That's right.
But people put you on this pedestal like, oh, if you're a life coach, you better never make a mistake. That's not how it works. The point of doing your work is when you catch yourself or you see it happen and you're able to go,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Let's pivot.
Right, because your body, your mind, your spirit is still going to aim towards certain comforts.
That's right.
So if that's comfort right there, it's going to go to it. And you go, oh, nope, I don't want to be comfortable. I want to do right.
That's right.
That's doing your work. So I want people to understand that because people always say that to me. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not perfect, believe me. But I know the tools to use when those things come up because they're going to come up the rest of your life. As long as you're breathing, it's coming up, right?
Yes.
So let me ask you something. What makes you vulnerable? Like, what is that about makes you vulnerable, or why you believe it's a strength?
Because you're being your true, authentic self. So when we have anxiety, depression, things like that, it's all because of fear. So it's not easy, right? But if you can be your true self, express how you feel about things, then you're doing a justice to yourself, a true justice and service, and to those other people that are trying to connect with you. Because we don't know everything. We learn off of other people. But that is just such a positive thing for you as an individual that it will just attract. We're a push-pull. That's how I see life.
This way you put it.
We're a push-pull. So if I put that out in the universe, then I'm going to receive that back. And the endorphins are happy. I mean, that cortisol that comes through your body when you're smiling and thinking of positive things, that is so much so better than doing the opposite, because there's nothing productive about that whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just like putting you have your mind. You have an option. You have the option to choose to put positivity stuff in your mind or negativity. Why worry? Why get all frustrated, upset, and stressed out on something that is not going to change unless you do something about it, right? So if you put your mind full of all that, you don't have enough space in there to figure out something or to let God work on you or figure it out for you, because you already have your brain full of all this negativity. So it's kind of like, at the end of the day, it doesn't change anything. So you might as well be positive, because you have a better chance to figure out something than you being negative. And then after you finish going to the pity party, you're going to cry, you're going to do all that. And then you look at it, the same problem's still sitting there. Nothing's changing. So I'd rather take that time and be productive with it and use it in a positive way than just trying to be negative.
That's right.
So we don't want to be ugly about that, right? So let's talk about being ugly.
Ugly. You gotta love yourself.
So I'm going to ask you about this name, right? So we have an entrepreneur right here. So as we talked about, her mental health and everything else, so she has risen to entrepreneurship, and now she has a company called Ugly Essentials. Tell us about it and the name and what inspired it.
So when I start my initial clients with my kids, we do vision boards. and we do it at the tail end too. But I love vision boards because vision boards, I'm a visual learner too as well. And it makes you see when you put things specifically out and you look at it, that's a goal that especially if you make it as a goal,
right.
So you can visually see it. So I can see that board. I want that house. I want that better diet. I want that revenue in my business. I want this successful or healthy life or marriage with my husband, those type of things. So the more that you can look and you can talk and you can speak it, the more it's pouring into you, so you can drive you to to achieve that goal. So I had her come in and we were doing our boards. My husband was there because he had just got off work. And we were going over what we had on our boards. So she had wrote out ugly. And I said, well, what is that? What was that word or that acronym? Is it an acronym or is it just a word? Why is that? And my girl at that time was 13 and she had a lot of acne things going on her face. So she used to get bullied. Beautiful girl, spirit, but sometimes we can be very, very not cool, right? Especially our kids today are going through a lot of things in school, to include our teenagers, just young teens, period. So I said, what does that mean for you? And she said, ugly. And I was like, yes. And she said, well, every time I see you and you come see me, you'll always say something positive and ask me how my day is. We'll go eat. And she said, you'll always tell me that you got to love yourself before you love anybody else. So I put that in an acronym. And I was like, oh, my husband's like, that's okay. Wow. I like that. And at that time, it was during COVID. So when, I'm a cancer survivor, right? 2-time breast cancer. So when I was sick, I could never find things. I had my skincare routine, all that. But once I started chemo and after, I did a long time of radiation. So I could not find anything in that. My face started getting burned. Of course, all these were gone. All eyelashes and all that was gone. So I could not find something to remedy the things, all the breakout and stuff on my face. So we created our own. So at that time, we did our first product was our facial cleanser, our body butter, and our hand sanitizer.
Okay.
Which is
COVID
more than 80% alcohol.
Oh, gosh. You're going to burn your eyes trying to open up that bottle.
That's all right, though, but it's going to kill them germs. And it's not
That was
sticky.
COVID time. That was COVID time.
That's right. So who would have ever thought? And then when I thought about it, me and my husband, we talked about it, that we wanted our community to know that our products are for everyone. We all diverse, that everyone has something going on with their skin, to include, we wanted to change what people think about the connotation of ugly to make it in a positive way. Because we all thought ugly was different. I had a big nose. They didn't know if I was black or white or not. When I was younger, they used to pull on my hair. I mean, it was just all kinds of things. So just because you're unique doesn't mean you're ugly. So we just wanted to change that whole thought process of what ugly really stands for. And that all our products are derived from, some of them are multifunctional, and then either way to natural, but to help you from the inside to make you beautiful. I don't want to change anything that you got going on. I just want to enhance it. That's all.
And so the products that you have, they help create conversations, correct? Because when you use ugly in the title with beauty, that helps start that, conversation. Do you have conversations like around mental health with your products?
Yes,
because
it seems
like it's connected.
This is all connected because if you look and feel good, everything. So now you smell good, your skin is clean. So especially if you have eczema, then so you're itching, you're irritable, flaky. So now you have a product that also takes care of that concern, right? But that also makes you feel good, makes you feel sexy or smooth, shiny. So you can still protrude hey, I'm good. Even though I look different, I'm good. And I feel good and I smell good.
I wonder what people like the word ugly to me. Who made that word up, first of all? Who's the person that's in charge of ugly? Like, who could tell someone they ugly? Really, think
Nobody.
about it. Because we all
Not
look
God.
different. Right.
Right.
But we all different.
Absolutely.
So who says it? Like they said, is the person the beholder, right, of the person. Like some people
Eyes
think
of the beholder.
the most beautiful woman that a lot of people love, some people say, oh, she's all right. So it doesn't matter because is someone out there going to think that you're their apple or their eye, or they're going to think that you're beautiful.
That's right.
But like you said earlier, it's not about what they think about you. It's what you think about yourself.
Absolutely.
And when you exude that and walk around with that confidence. And sit up and be in it.
Absolutely.
And there's people I heard people say this before. They say, I don't know why, but it's something about her. She just takes the room like when she comes in, and she's not the normal looking quote unquote girl, but they were so attracted to her because of her confidence and the way she carried herself and the way she just took that room over. Yes. So it's not about the actual aesthetics of your face as beauty. No. Beauty is a full package deal. It's from head to toe. It's from your brain. It's from your intellect. It's about your personality. It's about your vibe. It's about your name. All that equals beauty.
That's right.
So I want people, I'm going to look at this camera for that one. Let me let y'all know that. Don't get all caught up in the actual, because social media will take you there. It will take you there. And you'll think if you don't look like that influencer, or you don't look like that person, that you are not beautiful. That is not true. It comes with a whole package deal. There's a lot of people out here walking around with, yes, they got the beauty, quote unquote, but we do age and we do get older, all right? But you have to have something else to stain you. And nobody want a pretty face with no brains and no intellect and no kind of conversation. There you go. Conversation. People want to talk and have conversation. As you get older, that stuff is more important than just looking at someone.
Absolutely. And that helps with your mental health.
There you go.
When you're having positive connections, conversations with people, because what does that do? When I hear Dr. ReGina just got her doctorate in philosophy, right? My husband's like, I said, babe, we got to go so I can get her some flowers. He said, you already got something for her. And I was like, but that is something to smile about from ear to ear, right? So why would I not be happy about that for my friend? Because that's another milestone for her, which is going to help her mentally. Like, that's something that she wanted to do. She worked her butt off to get it.
Oh, yes,
and then so she's here, right?
Yeah.
So I think in society where we're at now, we're so toxic in society that we look at, oh, well, she might, I'm not sure, but you don't know nothing about them. You have not heard nothing, a burp from them. You don't know what their voice sounds like. Just sit down, be still for a minute, pause, be quiet, and just let somebody else speak. But then too, just be the way that you want to be towards somebody else.
There you go. The way
Treat
you want to be
people
treated.
the way you want to be treated.
And just the tribe aspect of that, like we talk about your tribes and people that you're surround yourself with, right? And this could definitely impact your mental health.
Yeah.
So you want people that celebrate you, not tolerate you, first and foremost.
Yes.
You definitely want that. You want someone that's going to your accomplishments, celebrate those, but they'll be there when you have your days.
Your
days. You want that to support you. But I don't understand. I never got that. I never understood, even though I was a child. Why are you upset about what somebody else have? I never got that, because it's like it was not for you. It's not for you.
That's that spirit.
But what's for you will happen for you.
But that's the spirit.
But you have to have that mindset to even think that way. And you think that, God give us a land of plenty. There's enough for everybody to have. So if I'm in business let's say we have the same business, I don't see it as competition. I see collaboration.
Collaboration, yeah.
I see, you know what? I got to go over here. This is more your thing. Let me give that to you. Or, hey, I need product. I don't have this. Let me contact you, because I know you're going to look out for me and we're going to look out for each other. If you think of it as more of collaboration instead of competition, you will grow tremendously.
Absolutely.
Just your whole spirit and your business and everything else. So, I mean, what do you think about that?
I live like that. You and I live like that, but everybody else doesn't live like that. And then we have to really look at what environment they're in, that tribe, and maybe that tribe doesn't have the capacity.
They don't have the capacity to even think that way.
Yeah.
And we had to learn how to let that go and just move on. So whenever you're ready, let me know.
You got to give them grace.
You got to give grace.
You got to give them grace.
You said that earlier.
We got to give them grace. We got to give them grace, because when you're in a state, when you're in that fight or flight state mode,
it's dangerous.
High functioning depression.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people live that way every day. I did.
Say it again. Say
high
that one time.
Functioning depression.
Wow. A lot of people live that way.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
We too busy worrying about everybody saying about us or what people think about us, and not even care what we think about ourselves.
And doing so we can be up there with the Joneses, but at home I'm curled up in a cocoon, and my dog is trying to console me because I'm depressed. That I don't want to be around. I'm just crying because everybody on the outside, everyone thinks that you're successful, that you're doing it. You're there holding up everybody else, but who's filling up your cup? You know. But we just still moving. We're still executing. We're still executing. We have to get out of that. Society has made us be that way. You know, so we have to get out of that. And then there's also some other spirits that we have in the Bible that we talk about. Again, that's why I say you have to get with whoever you chose to serve. Because those spirits, that jealousy, envy spirit, that people pleasing.
That's me. I'm recovering people pleaser
I am
right
too,
here.
every day, every second. Every second, I'm a recovering people pleaser person.
Yeah,
so now I'm not really liked anymore now.
I'm good. I'm getting there. But there's sometimes, just like any other addiction that you have, you always got to work on it. It doesn't fully go away because someone could trigger you to go back in that, and you got to stop. That's where the work come in. You go, I see it about to happen. Look, I can't care what you think. I'm just not going to do it, or I'm just not for me, or you got to learn how to say no. And I think we don't like disappointing people because there's something in our lives that we were taken back with that we would disappoint. We don't want to disappoint people. We want people to always like us.
That's that work, though. That's that work. External validation.
There you go.
We don't need that. We're okay.
Yep.
You're okay. Look at yourself every day in the mirror. I'm good. I love myself. I love myself. I'm good. People think it's corny. It's not corny. It's not corny. It takes 14 days every day to do something to actually form a habit. 14 to 21 days.
Yes, it
right?
is.
So if you say to yourself every day, I love myself. I'm going to be good to myself every day. I want to be around positive people every day. If I get upset, I'm going to work that out in the moment. And then it's hard. It is hard. But once you keep repetition, and we'll get there.
It will happen. So we talked about mental health. We talked about ugly essentials. We have something else we want to talk about. You are a best-selling author.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, where'd that bug come at? Like, when do you decide to take the pen to the pad?
So this phenomenal woman named Dr. Short, we work. She does Mary Kay. She does some other things. I've known her in the community forever. We've been good friends. And we were talking. This is when I got sick the second time.
Okay.
So she was like, you ever thought about telling your story? She's like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you go to work, PT, leave at noon, go do treatment, and then go home. And then do sorority work, do everything else, try to look like you having a single life. Okay? All of that. And no one would ever know besides a little bit of your weight loss. She said, and you're an active duty Army senior leader. How do you do that? And I was like, I learned it from my mama. My mama did that. So she said, well, let's talk about that. So that was my first book, was an anthology. So that was Becoming the Shiro, and I actually spoke about for the first time my cancer story.
Wow. Did it release?
It did. It did, because there's a lot of things that happened that was more weirder than I had this eye thing going on. So I had double retina detachments. They said I would never see out of my left eye anymore. So that compounded it with all of the other stuff. And I came out okay. So I figured at that point, and then God was like, why are you not doing this in the first place? You need to do it. I was like, okay, all right. And then I did my second book with her as well. We talked about mentorship. And I was like, oh, I could talk about mentorship. I could talk about that as a mentee or a mentor.
Right.
So those two went bestseller. And then God called me to do a devotional with a group of 360 other people. So every day an author has a saying to give to somebody.
Wow.
And then now I decided to write my own mental health book. So that is getting ready to be printed as we speak.
All right now.
So wanted to give something to the community for all aspects. So if your child can read, they can use that book. So there will be a scripture in there. There's some activities. There's some reflections things in there. There's some journaling to do. And some just things that we don't really think about every day that will just help us be better in life.
Isn't it amazing how God works and how God just
He's
divined
awesome.
your order, and it started from the service, and you probably never connected that at the beginning. Like this, you're going to the service was the plan, so you would be able to get to this point. And He takes you through things, so you have to have some kind of test to do the testimony. And what you went through that test, and then you saw how important mental health was. It wasn't. It was divine order. That was His plan for you. To be able to go out in the world and tell people, hey, I've been through it. You could be healed too. And even in writing your book, I know it helped you heal. Because, when I wrote mine, it was just like a lot of healing. I had a lot of crying in, a lot of reflection. So when you wrote your book, how and why, or let's say how first, how did it help you heal?
Forgive myself. Forgive the things that had happened that... So I never was mad at God about cancer. I just felt like this was a lesson. I didn't like the lesson. I had the lesson 3 times. But however, it got me to where I'm at today. I really believe it was a test for my resilience of all the things that I have went through in my life, especially my childhood. And to show, especially us of color, and us that look like we walk around here every day like we busy bees, but we do have those days that we can still get through it, right?
Yeah.
And even now when I write, I'm writing a memoir. Well, I'm not gonna say a memoir, but to help us get through some of the biggest struggles, sexual assault, domestic violence, grief, sorority hurt, church hurt.
I'll tell you.
But if you look at it all as lessons, it just makes you such a better person for you, and something for you to celebrate that I got through all of that. But just look, if you were to tell that, how many other people that are probably not trying to tell their story because they just don't feel like they can, or they don't have a safe space to do that. So I feel like this is just another transition of me to serve. I was put here to serve. Really,
yeah, I felt the same too. And so I know you do a lot of community outreach with the veterans as well as sorority life as well. And we both have that in common. When you are a part of a sorority or any organization that asks you to serve, it takes a lot because you have to do it selflessly and it's not about you. When you do things, because it's free, you're not getting paid, and sometimes you're paying out to do the service. More so paying outward to do the service. So I could tell you my my feelings about it, but I want to hear about yours first. So how do you feel like, even when you working with the vets, working with the sorority, how do you feel about giving in the outpour of your community base, like helping the community?
I sometimes think we need to do more. I need to do more, right? I just saw the other day a homeless vet with a baby, black girl with a kid in a roller on the side of Skybo. I forgot to say that.
What?
I was just like, oh my God, I've never seen that. I've never seen that. I've never. It was sad.
You would think that, a vet, I never got that either. I know there's a lot of political red tape on this thing. I get it. But if you serve the country that you live in and kept it safe and you come home, why you don't get treated the way you should be treated? Like the service and everything should be a given. Like you shouldn't have to fight for a lot of stuff that it seemed like that you had to fight for.
Well, I'm not going to say you might. I think there's resources out there. I think sometimes we just don't take the initiative to see where they are.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
I will really truly say we really need to read more. Reading, I keep saying that. Reading is fundamental. We really, as a human race, we need to read more. The more that we read, the more that you're more educated, more knowledgeable in things, and then people will not try to take advantage of you. Unfortunately, this is life. People will do that. Mm-hmm. I hate that for all of us. Mm-hmm. However, there is people out there that just don't care. But for our vets that get into that situation, a lot of times it's mental health issues. Mm-hmm. And then they just don't have a plan. And that whatever plan they did have just totally backfired. Mm-hmm. And they don't know the resources that are out there for them.
All right. And I learned, that's why I learned from you. Because, see, I don't even know what media tells me. Because, I'm not a vet. So you get it on the news, and it seems like they always saying that they fighting for this and fighting for this, right? And like you said, a lot of times things are there for you. You just don't know where to look. Yeah. And I guess that's why you should get in contact with someone in the vet so they could kind of guide you through it. Absolutely. Instead of you thinking that it's not there. Because a lot of times, like you said, you know what they always tell you, don't give sometimes a person a book or a Bible because the answer could be right there, but they won't read it to find out. And it's right in front of their face. So you got to do your due diligence as well. And we have to, which goes to our communication. We have to talk more. Mm-hmm. There's people that will listen. There's some people that won't. Mm-hmm. But until you find somebody to talk, you need to talk. We have to talk. Because if you don't communicate, no one doesn't know. We're not Yoda. I say we're not Yoda. We're not Yoda. Right. We don't do Jedi mind tricks. We can't read everybody's mind. Our nonverbal can say some things, but that's still not a good way to effectively communicate. That's and I'm no by means the best PhD communicator out there in the world. Mm-hmm. Trust me. But what I've just learned in my own experience and journeys, the more I be quiet, the more I can hear. So we have to listen more. Yeah, listen. And talk. Yeah. So give me your advice on someone who wants to give or give their services out or want to be in the community service base. What will you tell them to start? So actually, if they have a resource center, mm-hmm. they can go there. If they don't, I would actually just walk them to the mayor's office, somewhere where they have his offices at, mm-hmm. he or she's offices at. There's someone there that can, in their HR department, should be able to tell you some type of resource that's within your city. Oh, wow. Your Chamber of Commerce mm-hmm. should have resources too as well, for you to be able to identify that a person might need. Soldiers, there's always, especially near a large military installations like we have at Fort Liberty, mm-hmm. there's a Wounded Warrior Project mm-hmm. Resource. So if you go on the internet and you were to type in for any type of resources near you, mm-hmm. then there should be some there out there. All right. Well, thank you. I never thought about a mayor's office. Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, that is the core of your city, mm-hmm. right? And everything that goes through the city goes through there. So that's a great place. It's like work smart, not hard. Go to one building, they can send you somewhere else. I figure that's just go to the head. That is smart. Somebody in that building's going to tell me where I can allocate some resources. Exactly. That's amazing. So everybody, listen, go to your mayor's office. If you don't know where to start at, be smart with it. Go to one place and let them tell you where to go. Instead of you trying to figure it out if you don't know how to look it up online, even mm-hmm. going to your mayor's website, something that's a good start. I never thought about that. Mm-hmm. That is perfect. So let's talk about your legacy, all right? Because you're building one as we speak. So what do you want people to know your legacy to be? I care about people. I care about our people. I care about women. I care about children. I care about empowering us so we can be better because we're just in days that society, I mean, look what's going on today. Mm-hmm. Actually today, at this moment in California. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Craziness.
I would never thought that I'd see active duty soldiers like that. Never. So we have to find spaces that we're able to uplift, that we're able to have people thrive, not just live, but let's thrive. I want to thrive. So I'm making ensure that my whole tribe does. And just being intentional with what you do and what you say.
Right.
We talk about things. So I think about what I want to be when I grow up. I don't know if our kids ask that anymore.
Not really.
I don't know if they do. I don't know if us as adults are having those kind of conversations with our children or our teens or even with your own friends, you know? So I think I am a caring person. And that's what I want to leave. I leave this earth today or tomorrow that I have done everything in my power to serve whoever wants to empower themselves and be positive and successful and do the work.
And do the work.
I
would say definitely do the work. So what advice would you give someone that's struggling to love themselves? What would you tell them?
Go into the bathroom, go into the mirror, and ask yourself, what do you really want for you? You deserve whatever the best that God has for you in this whole entire life. So why do you feel that you don't deserve that? And then when you answer that question, ask it why again.
Just to make sure.
Yeah. And then talk to somebody. We have to ask for help. Being strong is asking for help. Us not asking for help, us not communicating is not a sign of strength.
Yeah.
So it starts with us. So it'll be okay. And it's okay to be scared and nervous. It's all right. But we have to let somebody know.
Yeah.
They won't know until you tell them.
Being scared and nervous is just temporary. And that's a lot of times people don't get that.
That's right.
When you're scared, worry, fear is temporary. It's not meant for you to stay. It's not designed to stay. We make it stay.
That's right,
and then we form our life around it, and then we end up not living in our purpose because we're walking around scared. And that is a feeling that your body automatically does. It's just a reaction. But it's more or less to make you alert. It's supposed to kind of give you that little oomph.
That's right.
The adrenaline rush. But it wasn't supposed to stifle you and make you not do.
No.
It's supposed to give you because every time I come on this camera, I get a little, nervous because, you're like, I got to do the show. But then I know what it is. And it's supposed to, because it's supposed to make you excited. You supposed to make it exciting and not make it fear.
That's right.
And that alone will help people just volumes. Because a lot of people, there's people in my life, there's people I know that are not doing and not living in their purpose, are not living the life God designed them to have because they scared.
Absolutely.
They scared to move because they don't know the unknown. And unknown scares them.
That's right.
And it's like unknown, but at least you know what you're getting here, nothing. But the comfort, we are designed for comfort. Our body likes comfort. And if it could be like, I don't care, you ain't gonna do nothing for the rest of your life, but at least we know what's gonna happen.
That's right.
But then if you go this way, you don't know what could happen. It'll be way better than what's going on over here. But we just gotta trust the process and trust God in his ways, right?
Yep.
And that's exactly how it is. So before we close out, let me ask you, give me your favorite quote or scripture.
She believed she could, so she did.
I like that. She believed she could, and she did. So tell me a little bit, elaborate on that. How would you use that in a life scenario?
When you have an obstacle, just think about that phrase and put I did it, I believed it, so I can do it.
That's right.
That's it. We are our worst. We're the terrorist. Our mind can be a terrorist.
You ain't telling the truth on that one.
So when we start thinking negative thoughts, intrusive thoughts, name them, right, as personalities. So okay, this is the terrorist. I don't need to be listening to the terrorist. Okay, this is psycho. I don't want me to listen to the psycho. Where is calm? I need calm. Come on, calm. But literally that way. So you identify, okay, well that's I don't want to feel that, because that's why the head and the gut is together,
And you
connected.
feel that, yes.
Right? That's that nervous system. So if you can get that nervous system to be calm, like you said, when you get a little bit, when you get excited, that's there, but it ain't supposed to be sitting there all the time. So you'll resort back to your calmness. Anything that is easy and calm, that's your purpose. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
Easy and effortlessly.
It's not supposed to be purpose. Chaos.
That's right.
Chaos is not good for the body at all. And what we really have to realize is that mental stress will kill you. Well, how it comes out is in hypertension, depression, diabetes, because then what? We're going to start eating crazy. Then we're not going to exercise. So we really have to be mindful about us and our body. And how do you protect it like a temple, basically?
That's it. Well, that is the end of our show today. But I want to thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you, my soror, my sister, Miss McKenney. I appreciate you because you are really doing some amazing things, and I want to give you your flowers now. You are doing amazing. I watch you on social media. You give encouraging words all the time. I love the love that you and your husband have, and you display that this Black love that is out there, and it's possible for us to have that, ladies and gentlemen.
It is. It's hard, but it is. It is. Yeah. It really is, because we're not. There's some days in marriage, we all know in relationships, some days he don't like me, some days I don't like him. But it's not even a but. However, we knew by the covenant of God that we were to be together, and we not no flunkies. We not just gonna cop out and be like, okay, well, you got on my nerves, I got on your nerves, then disrespectful and all that, and then now we're gonna divorce. Well, that's what Satan wants us to do. He wants to break us up. He wants to break positive, happy couples up. So that's all not with the devil, those little spirits. So we have to be vigilant. We have to be resilient. We have to be obedient, and we have to trust.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's good to see it. It's good to see that. And,
I appreciate that.
For the positivity out there. Can you hearing all this craziness and all this stuff that is like out of this world? Just to see some like positivity and knowing that it's possible, because there's a lot of women who don't think, especially over 50, they think that it's never going to happen.
Right.
I know somebody who just got engaged. One of my good friends just got engaged this weekend, and she's 55. So it's always there. It's never going to be too old for anything. And if you got that mindset, then it's never going to come your way.
Yeah, we have to get up that mindset that we're so independent. That might be another show. That we don't need a man. Well, that's not why we were here. It's
not how we designed.
That's not how we're designed.
No, but the world, society, and social media always talking about get this bag. I'm like, okay, don't get me wrong. We all want the money, but we got to put it in the rightful place.
That's right.
And it doesn't make you the man in the house just because you make more money than him.
Absolutely.
It doesn't design the structure of marriage by your pockets. But we got to come back on that one. That's a good show. We're going to have that show, because I want to help some of these people out here, because I swear, because social media got y'all thinking crazy.
Toe up from the floor.
Oh, my gosh. So we want to get that straightened out. So, hey, we're going to have another episode about the structure of a household, right? Yes. We're going to definitely do that. But until then, I want to thank my audience for being here today. And I want to kind of give my little ending here. So, my title has changed since last weekend. I am now Dr. ReGina R. Smithwick. And it came with a lot. Thank you. That's I appreciate that. It came with a lot. I grew from that. This whole experience is something else. I heard this story many times from people who've got their doctorate degrees, and it's true. You go through different levels of this thing, but I just want to say, God be the glory. Thank you so much for giving me the strength to go through. And I did it for my parents that's no longer on this earth. I promised my mommy I was going to do this, and I decided this is time for me to do it after she left here. And I'm just grateful. I'm just so grateful. It was a beautiful weekend last weekend. I had my graduation and everything else. But it's not about just me. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I just want to let you know that it's for you too. I'm 55. I turned 55 last week. I graduated last week. I had so many things that's going on, but it's never too late to live your dream. If that's something you want to do, but even if you don't want to get your doctorate degree, you can do something else. But do it. Don't let age stop you from doing anything. And this is just the beginning, y'all. Right. Oh, this is just the beginning. Y'all going to know about me on whole different levels. It's happening as we speak, and I'm manifesting that, and I'm telling you that. That's what God had told me, and he's using me as his vessel. So I want to give you those encouraging words today. Do not stop. Don't let the world tell you. Get a different tribe, get different people, different mindsets. You got to hang with people that's going to be on that level, because if you don't, you're going to stay where you're at for the rest of your life. So that has to change. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. But thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you coming to the studio today. And as I said, my name is Dr. ReGina Smithwick. Let's Talk 1943. You want to know more about me? No problem. I'm on your home TV network. Everything ReGina is on rsenterprises.life, rsenterprises.life. And as we speak, I know it's sitting right there so you can see it. So until next time, God bless. And thank you so much for joining Let's Talk 1943. You have a good one. Love you. Bye. All right.
So there's a couple of things when we talked about Ugly Essentials. Some of our products are multifunctional, right? So this is one of them. So it has a straight, low lavender scent, right? So if you want to put it on as a mist, you can, right? To calm you down. Lavender helps us calm.
Good.
But it also will help with some of us that are dealing with hot flashes, with menopause, peri, full blown, et cetera, right? So it helps for that. You can also use it to exfoliate your scalp, right? So you got braids in your hair. So you can just spray it on your scalp and then just massage it in.
I will be doing that.
Because it has a little bit of tea tree in here too. And then you can also use it to help setting your makeup. Not finish your makeup, but set it. Because it has hyaluronic acid in it. So it's going to plump your face up. It's going to make it a little tighter and firmer. Besides your hot flashes, smell good, and your hair. So that's why I said some of our products are just amazing.
Okay. I had to bring, we finished the show. But I had to bring her back on just because the things that she told me that this one little product does. So it's going to put you to sleep. It's going to wake up your scalp. It's going to plump your face. It's going to set your makeup. What else? Oh, and hot flashes. One little product here. So I'm going to have her information definitely on the end of the show. But I just had to do this because this is amazing. I could use this one bottle for like my whole life. So Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. So just really quick, just let them know how to find that product.
Okay. So you can find it at www.uglyessentialsonline.com.
Say it one more time.
www.uglyessentialsonline.com.
All right, please check this out for our 50 plus crew, but even younger because you do a lot more. But
that's right.
Check us out. All right. She's doing it. She's doing it. All right. Thank you.